Hey guys, I'm Jackie Brubaker, host of the Love You Even More podcast. I'm an author, speaker, 2-time Emmy Award winner, and entrepreneur. I'm a Jackie of all trades and a master of some. Each week, I bring on people from all walks of life to talk to them about their inspiring stories in the fields of self-development, relationships, business, and how you can love yourself even more. For more about me and the podcast, visit us at loveyouevenmore.com. Welcome, Chantal Landerville, to the Love You Even More podcast. Chantal, oh my gosh, she has been on a couple of times, but it has been a while. And today we are celebrating the launch of her new book, Raise Your Love Signal. She is a certified love and relationship coach. We are going to learn all about how to call in, attract our perfect person, and how we can be better, and all of the things. Chantal, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be back, and it's always a treat to have a chat with you and see your pretty face.
Oh, same to you. You're just gorgeous. It's so pretty. We're just like admiring each other from afar. But first, to start this beautiful podcast, we have both poured champagne. We are ready to just celebrate these wins, including creating a book, writing a book, publishing a book. Cheers to you, my dear.
Thank you, girl. Thank you. Celebrate the wins.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. 10 a.m.
Yes.
Champagne. That's right. It's lunch.
Yes, I always say that, but bubbles are anytime, any day. It's like
anytime. I feel better already. So we have been friends for like 3 years now, actually. We have known each other for a while. We met during lockdown, and so many amazing connections were made that time. But you have been working on this book for a while, and it's amazing. I'm so proud of you. And I know that you are doing such a good job of celebrating the wins, because that's something that so many of us, especially entrepreneurs, do not do. So let's get into what the book is about.
Yes. So Raise Your Love Signal. Here's the actual hardcover copy that I got last week. I was so excited. It's a guide to attracting and keeping the love of your life. And, you know, when we were trying to figure out the subtitle of the book, because Raise Your Love Signal, it's kind of gives you an idea. It's a book about love, but it doesn't give you direction to it. You know, 2 words that kept coming to me were definitely attracting and keeping, even though at the beginning I had because keeping is like, I feel that it can be a negative connotation, but at the end of the day, it's all what we want. We want to find our person, and we want to be able to stay in that long-term healthy relationship, right? So I was like, you know what, it'll just speak to everybody, and we'll do it. So A Guide to Attracting and Keeping the Love of Your Life. And this book is literally everything I've learned over the last 20 years in my own personal journey, in my 18 years of being single, and all the money, I should say, all the hundreds of thousands of dollars that I spent in, you know, personal development and learning all about this stuff, because I was always extremely, extremely curious about anything that had to do with personal development and human behavior. Mm-hmm. So it's literally everything I've learned, and that I've applied myself in my life and into my relationship now that we've been together. We're going on our 5th year already. So trust me when I say it works. And what I wanted to do with this book is also make it an easy read, because sometimes it's easy for us to fall off track. So it's 140 some pages. It's a light read. And wherever you are in your journey, you can read a chapter and reread a chapter and say, oh, yes, I remember this. I need to, you know, look into more of this. So it's like almost like a night table book, where it's like easy for reference on a regular basis.
I love books that you can actually go back to a lot or reread a lot. There's a couple of books in my life that I always kind of reread every few years, or whenever I'm like, ooh, it's time to read that. And you get something new from it every time. It sounds like this book is one of those books where like maybe one chapter really speaks to you the first time and then another one really speaks to you depending on where you are in your journey?
Yes, I actually love that you said that because the book is divided in three love lessons. So there's a love lesson number one is really your want. So if you're still dating and you're trying, or you've recently become single and you're trying to figure out what is it that I actually want in love and relationship and understand what that actually means to you, because most people don't take the time to actually ask themselves these questions that I dive really deep into. Then there's love lesson number two. That's all about yourself. You know, we talk about self-worth, self-love, and understanding where you come from to know why you're behaving or attracting or not attracting
Right.
like you are in your dating life, or, you know, if your relationships keep failing, it's really important to understand the root cause of that. And then the last love lesson is, you know, giving you a little bit of the ABCs of dating and how to make your journey a lot more interesting and fun, because a lot of people struggle through the whole dating process. And then the fundamental pillars you need to put into place before you go into your relationship and practice these skills to make sure that once you are in a relationship, you're set up for success. Because Jackie, this is what I've come to realize in my own journey is that, you know, it's one thing to attract the right partner. It's such a hard journey for most people as they're dating and, you know, constantly going through failures or disappointments. So we want to make sure that you're set up for success when you do find that person, that you know how to navigate through relationship, because we have never been taught how to be in relationship, never. And when I got into my relationship and I knew I had found my magical unicorn, as I call him, I was like, wow, you know, and still until today, I will always, I always say I practice what I teach. I always refer back to a lot of these things that I talk about in the book, because it's, as I said, it's easy to fall off track and start taking each other for granted, or, you know, just kind of circling back. So it's made a huge difference on how we show up for one another and the quality of our relationship. It's made a huge difference.
That's such a huge point because, you know, I think we've all been in a relationship at one point where, you know, maybe like you came into it and you were good, but the other person wasn't. So they technically called in what they wanted, right? Like they called in their dream girl or dream guy, but then they got in the relationship and were like, uh-oh, I have no idea what I'm doing here. And they end up destroying that relationship. Or maybe you're the person who destroys the relationship because you haven't done the work on like, what is a relationship supposed to be? I keep hearing this a lot recently where, you know, people want to be in these like happy, easy relationships, and me too. You know, I think that's a huge part of having a healthy relationship is that it is somewhat easy, but all relationships are about growth. And I bet you anything in that section, it talks a lot about growing with your partner and growing with as a person yourself. Can you talk more about that and how that applies?
Yes, I love that, because listen, I don't care who you are, how easy your life is. There's no easy, like, so, and that's a rom-com and a Disney-fied segment that we, you know, and it's what we're taught, that, you know, we see each other and we run off into the sunset and everything is perfect. And it's not, because life happens. You have shitty days, you get kids, you're stressed, there's financial issues. So of course we tend to take it off always on the ones closest to us. And it's really having so much self-awareness. So, and this is one thing that I was actually writing an article yesterday, and I was writing it, there's things that I've been talking about for a while, but now they're really taking a whole other dimension for me, and including this part when you say making it easy. The easiest thing that you can do for yourself and your relationship and your partner is really developing the self-awareness that you have for yourself. Knowing yourself so well that, you know, this is why I get triggered this way. This is why I react this way when this happens. This is why I'm I'm bothered by what you are doing because it's reminding me of maybe an old way an old partner used to treat you, or something that you didn't receive as a child. So when you understand yourself so well, it makes it a lot easier for both partners to navigate through the ups and downs in your relationship and make things a little bit easier. So I'll give an example. I'm a control freak. I've always been. It's very easy for me to go into the mode of saying, what to do to people or managing a situation. And we've created this safe word, Jeff and I, that when I do start retracting to my old ways, he'll just call me on it. And it's like, it's my red bell saying, chill out, girl.
Yeah.
You need to step down. So, but because I have this self-awareness of understanding and knowing how my control issues and how they make me feel when it's not going my way,
Yeah.
I can take a breath now, back off, leave him alone. So instead of having this thing build up where I'll start, getting frustrated or scream or whatever anybody could react when they're not getting what they want, I laugh about it now. And I'm just like, you know what? Thanks for calling me out. Move on to the next thing. And then it's huge on how you manage conflict and
Yeah.
how quickly you can move through things that are just, little, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to say it in
Like
French.
hiccups or,
Yes. Thank you. Exactly. Exactly.
yeah. No, gosh, that's so true. Self-awareness is so important, but
Mhm.
I feel like it really does take two, because if you're in a relationship with someone who is very unself-aware, it's going to be an uphill battle and probably not going to work out. But the type of, I want to say courage it takes to do what you just described, where like there's a safe word your partner can say, and you can be like, yep, you're right. I am being kind of controlling. That level of self awareness is like the top. That is what we're aiming for, guys. And I'm sure it's not like that easy because it doesn't seem like it would be. But that kind of self awareness and humility is actually the word, is huge.
Humility. Yes, you said it. And it's one thing I take a lot of pride in. And not only in my romantic relationship, but in any relationship I have with a human being. Because, of course, no one likes to receive or being told that you're wrong or I didn't like when you did this. But for me, it's like I've learned to check my ego at the door, because at the end of the day, if someone you love is taking the time to communicate, say, express something how they feel, I want to know what I can do better. And
Yeah.
it's a simple basic, and you said something very important, is that you both need to be on the same page. And that's why I talk a lot about the vision you need to create. You need to set and be clear on certain things that are really important to you from the beginning. This is when I met Jeff, one of the things I told him, obviously I was doing this stuff, so he knew what he was getting involved, but I said, I am not looking to experience a relationship like the average people out there. I've learned from my mistakes. I want to be in a relationship that thrives, that, will be very different from what you've experienced in your own marriage, because he had been married and divorced. But we need to hold each other to high standards. And that's going to take I don't like saying work. Most people find work is a negative word, but some investment from our part, and how willing, because this is a word I talk about a lot in the book, the willingness that we both have to hold each other to high standards always. And that sets the tone for the relationship and for you both to kind of like set each other up. And listen, we fall off the boat. Sometimes we get
Totally.
lazy. We forget to, plan date nights. And then it's like 2 weeks we haven't had sex. And I'm just like, oh,
Life happens.
okay. Life happens. But it's how quickly we catch each other back up, and we'll
Yeah.
bring each other and say, okay, we actually need to take care of this, because if not, we're going to slip. And that's not what we signed up for. So holding that, it's almost like a contract, an agreement that you make amongst each other. And it takes two. It literally does. Everything I talk about needs to be reciprocated.
Yeah. Cheers to that. Let's take a sip.
Yes, good idea. I need a little bubbly in my mouth. I get so fired up when I talk about this stuff because it's great to be able to experience it myself. I always say I'm the cobaye, I'm the guinea pig of my own project, and I sincerely wish because I will tell you this, Jackie, going through this year in the book has been a massive challenge because I also left my full-time job that I had been doing for the last 20 years, the industry, to focus on my personal business. So there's been a lot of I had to make room for a lot of vulnerability and getting the support in my relationship.
Right.
And it's made me discover a whole other level of love and intimacy like I never thought I'd experience ever in my life. And I think that I see it, I hear it. I actually did a post on this yesterday. There's never been a desire from people to experience deeper human connections. We want to feel human connection. Like we want to live love. We want to experience love, but there's never been so much fear around investing into it. And I've come to realize that it took me 5 years to get here. We had to build on it, and people don't want to invest the time into it. And intimacy and vulnerability and how you navigate through each other's baggage and, triggers or whatever, you need to invest the time to get to know each other, to understand how to transform that dynamic. And it's like, okay, this is not working. I need to learn how to do this when she reacts like this, or she needs this, or he needs that. So that can only come with time. So I'm really hoping that people get out of the book a different perspective on how to approach what we've been taught about love, which, as I said earlier, is all rom-com and Disneyfied. Because if you want to experience true love, healthy love, and a loving, long-term relationship, you need to let go of that walking in the sunset on the white horse.
Clouds, that's right. You got to let that go, guys, because, well, and what's interesting too is that is such a huge hold on men and women. And when you get out of the honeymoon phase, which lasts about 3 months, you guys, that's kind of technically where it stops. You start becoming a human. You start becoming real. And that's when the push-pull starts to happen in a new relationship where you're like, ooh, I don't know if I like this. You're becoming kind of real to me. And that fantasy starts going away. Even if you're still doing fun stuff and all the things are still okay, you're starting to let your guard down, which creates intimacy. And if you're not willing to be vulnerable and to create that real intimacy with someone, which means I'm starting to trust you, I'm starting to really open up to you and depend on you. What you just talked about with, leaving your job and pursuing your business full time, having the support of your partner, that takes incredible trust. And that takes time to build in a relationship. And you may never feel completely solid on it, especially since it's only been about a year, with all of this. I would be terrified. So I commend you. I totally commend you. But I think the point is that, when we start to become human, that's when the real grit starts happening, right? We start to really grow in love with someone. And if somebody is not willing to be honest about themselves or be honest to themselves about what they are, it's never going to work again. So again, it's not only is self-awareness huge, but being honest with each other and accepting each other for being the humans that you are. All the good, all the bad, all the gross, guys, gross, we're human, we're gross.
Exactly. There's no one perfect because you have your flaws. And, if you want someone to accept you with your flaws, you have to reciprocate the same thing. So I think the second word that I would use, and we talked about self-awareness, but it's also I lost my train of thought. I hate when this happens to me. Damn, I'm like, my brain is going 100 miles an hour. That's it. It's authenticity. And it's a buzzword right now. We're using it over and over and over again, but I want you to understand what that actually means. When you can show up as your true authentic self, where you're not trying to be someone or accommodate things that you would typically never do. And listen, I was that person all of my life. My first relationship that I actually said to myself, okay, this is it. You're going into this. When you're going to date this time around, you are going to be all of you, because I was always ending up pretending to be someone I wasn't, including downsizing my big personality, because I had a big personality. I took a lot of space, and I was always told, you're being too intimidating, men, you intimidate men, which was a big crock of bullshit, because
Yeah.
you know, you
Because
want
the
to
right
be
man
with
will care.
exactly. You want to be with someone that can manage and handle and actually embraces that.
Yeah.
So when I actually started being my true authentic self, it's amazing, because it's so much more work and it's so much more tiring pretending to be
Oh.
someone you're not. And
Mhm.
then the worst is that as you move into the relationship, having to deal with the conflict that comes of all of a sudden saying, you know what, I used to say I like this, but I actually don't. I never did. And then the partner doesn't understand, and they're like, what do you mean? You always said that you actually enjoyed this. Or
Yeah.
so then that takes the relationship to a level where there's a dynamic that's been set for often 2, 4, 5, 6 years. And then you want your partner to change all of a sudden, but you're the one that's actually changed.
Yeah.
And you have this expectation toward your partner. So you are your own fault.
Yeah.
So that's why,
Mm.
again, I retreat back to the vision of getting clear on what it is that you want. And when I talk about that, it's, who do you want to be in relationship as well, right? Because we always think about, what kind of partner do I want, but we never think, how am I going to grow and evolve in a relationship? What are the core values I want? How do I want to be taken care of? How do I want to be accepted? How do I want to be respected?
Yeah.
So it's these are all core fundamentals for you to think about if you want to experience deep, meaningful connections. And
Mhm.
this doesn't just apply in romantic relationships. If you want to experience great, meaningful friendships, a lot of what I talk about in the book is applicable to everything in relationship, because the more authentic you are with yourself, you'll you'll lose the as we age sometimes, right? We always say that we evolve, we grow, but we can lose a lot of our circle that we've had for 10, 15, 20 years, just because we
Absolutely.
grow, we change, we evolve. And I've come to realize that we often feel guilty about, not feeling connected to certain people anymore. And there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with it. I call it now, I shelf this friendship or this
Mhm.
relationship, where it's kind of like a great book you don't want to get rid of, but you've gotten what you needed out of it. So I'm just going to put it back on the bookshelf until I need it again, or I'm ready to revisit it,
Right.
and remove that guilt away from you. So when you're in your true authentic self, you don't care what people think. You're not walking around eggshells because you have to please or make sure this person, gets things a certain way. It's just, this is how I am, and I'm ready to talk and have conscious communication and exchange. And again, that's intimacy and vulnerability, and it's beautiful, deep connections.
That's a real deep connection with yourself and with others. And, not everyone is cut out for that level of relationship, because we meet
Mhm.
them.
Yes.
And they're just
Yes.
like, nope, I'm good. I'm good right
Yes.
here on the surface. And that's fine. So if you meet them and you're a deep diver who wants a deep relationship, listen to them. Listen to
Yeah.
them. But no, I think the most beautiful relationships are the ones that we do keep evolving with, and we are authentically ourselves. Because, like, what you said about, basically you're withholding information. You're like, oh, no, no, like I was always okay with that. And then 2 years later, you're like, I was never okay with that. Like, that
Mm.
is on you. And in a weird way, you're lying. I mean, maybe not weird. Maybe you're just lying. You're lying. And
Yes.
what is that telling your partner about their trust to you? It's diminishing their trust to you. When you are withholding, when you are masking who you are to keep someone to be what you think that they want, that's never going to feel good to your partner. And maybe you think you're getting away with it, but you're not. Like
Right.
people feel it. Maybe they can't pinpoint it yet, or maybe they can, but like they feel it. And that's just that foundation you're trying to create of a relationship will always be wobbly. It will never
Yeah,
be solid. So
I
it is
totally
better.
agree.
It's just better to be your weird little self, Find your weird little person to go with you. I mean, wouldn't you be so much more relaxed and happy? You could just be your weird little self.
It's yes, yes, because listen, it's not fun. It's not fun being on the other side of the fence. So, it's a beautiful thing. And I'll take it this back to friendship. I've had a girlfriend that we've known each other since my mid-20s, and she was what I called a Mother Teresa, very, very
Mm.
kind, generous. She taught me a lot of things that I had no idea about, including thoughtfulness. I was not necessarily a thoughtful person, and it's not because I wasn't. I had not been educated that way on the level of thoughtfulness that she had. Certain things
Mm.
like
Mhm.
writing a thank you card. Today it's a text message after somebody has hosted you for dinner,
Yeah.
or thinking of you as you're going on your interview for a new job. All
Yeah.
these little things that can make a difference. And the one thing I appreciated is she would always take the time to tell me, Chantal, including my control issues, when things, I'd plan stuff, they wouldn't go my way, plans would change last minute, I'd lose my shit. But she would always shove me in a corner and tell me, you know what, this is not okay. You're not reacting like this. It's like you're creating a monster for nothing. And of course, it was really hard to receive at the time because my ego was just like,
Mm.
rah, rah, rah. But
Mhm.
with time, and we're talking about now, we've been friends for almost 30 some years. And the role, we were talking about it last week, and how the roles have been reversed, because I was this party girl, coming, very not very knowledgeable about self-development when I was in my early 20s. It just came later. And now she's like, you're this book of like
Wow.
wisdom, and now you're teaching me a few things on this side. So
Oh,
the beauty of having that wheel, where if you are receptive, because you have to be receptive, and that's why I say,
yeah.
listen to when people that you love and know that love you talk to you. Pay
Yeah.
attention, and ask yourself the question, why is this bothering me? If I'm being triggered, or what is it? And that's where the self-awareness piece comes in. And you have no idea how this can transform how you show up, not only in relationship, but with your friendship, but with your family, where we often get super triggered, and
Oof.
at the workspace. If
Yeah.
you're able to really put that piece of humility, as you love, because that's such a beautiful word, humility, it transforms everything. And I think that all of us as human beings need to experience a lot more of humility with ourselves, and when we're having conversations, because there's a lot of people are so afraid to have hard conversations. And if you can't have the hard conversations, you can't experience deep, meaningful connection. You can't experience what true love really is. I'm telling you this right
Absolutely.
now.
Oh, no, you're so right. And I really do believe that's why so many relationships don't work, is
Mhm.
because one of the people is trying to be deep and the other person's like, oh no, I just don't want you to see this. And I also don't want to see this about me. I don't want to go there. La 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 la.
I know,
You
right?
know?
Noise.
Just like, no thanks, we're good. I mean, it's that, oh my gosh, have you seen the Barbie movie?
Yes,
Okay. Remember when Barbie goes to Ugly Barbie
yes.
and Ugly Barbie's like, okay, you could be like this beautiful pump or something like that. And she's like, and like just stay the way you are, not knowing anything. Or you could go to the real world and like learn everything. And Barbie's like, no, 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 I just want to stay the pump. And she's like, no, that's the wrong answer. And like, that's it. Like,
I remember
no,
now.
I'm sorry. Once you know, you can't unknow, right? Once you know the truth, you can't unknow the truth. Like I think, what I hear you and everything we're talking about, it's like I can hear this person who keeps having failed relationships be like, why,
Mm.
and there's a few different types of people why they're having failed relationships. Maybe you keep picking people who are just truly not available or in any context. But if you're someone who keeps having like great people, but then like it doesn't work out, like that is the moment where it's like, what are you doing that is
Yes.
causing this to not work, And it is hard to look at yourself and it is hard to have that humility and you listen to the people around you say, hey, maybe you should have been more honest about who you actually are. Maybe you should get more honest on who you actually are. All
Yes.
of these really tough, hard lessons, but it's true, like, because, if you do meet a great person, you're going to lose them if you're not good
Mm.
to them because you're not being good to yourself.
Yeah. It will
And
catch up to you.
it'll
It will
catch up to
catch up to
you.
you.
Everybody gets found out eventually. So,
They
and not
do.
only are you hurting yourself, but you're also hurting that person.
A
Maybe
hundred
they
percent.
wanted the
Yes.
relationship and like now they don't have it because you weren't able to do your part in your work. So
Yes.
it's a tough pill to swallow, but I really love this idea of like, this is such a deeper book than just, oh, let's find my person. It's like, yeah, let's find your person, but like for life, maybe, or
Yeah.
hopefully for a really, really long period of time. I have a question. Speaking of, your person for life versus long periods of time, do you think that we are meant to stay with the same person forever, or do you think that we have multiple long-term relationships throughout our lives?
That's such a great question. Such a great question. And there's different answers to that. So I used to think, my person, the one person, the love of my life. And I think that we have many different people that come in, meaningful people that come into our life to teach us lessons, to grow from, and to really discover what it is that we want and what we don't want. Because when I ask you, like, do you know what you want? I would say everybody says yes. And then I start drilling down with the questions because, we often make it about a partner and very, very self-absorbed things and very superficial things. I want them to be financially off, funny, cook, dance, whatever. And we we don't we don't think about how that person is going to grow and evolve with us. So again, the value system that I talked about. So who you are maybe in your 20s and your 30s, it could be completely different than who you are in your 50s. So that's why I'm like, see everybody that comes into your life as a
Yeah,
lesson. And that's what I wanted to say. Sorry, I was going around the circle
it's
here.
fine. We're
As
here for it.
about getting clear about what you want, because we think we do. And, you mentioned this earlier, is that there's a big difference between what you attract, what's right for you, what you think you want, what you attract, and what's right for you.
Hmm.
Massive difference. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to often what we think we want. So for example, I was always attracted to type A people like me, big personalities, and that didn't work for me. I had to look into a different kind of personality, but my brain was very limited in who I would allow myself to actually date because I wanted that kind of personality. So one, open to have that triangle. You need to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Two is that I do think that the love of your life is not necessarily for everybody. I
Yeah.
will tell you this. I think I'm with the person today that I will be for the rest of my life. Now, I have no idea. I could die tomorrow. God bless my soul.
Let's not do that.
Something could happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I want to take the reason why I'm saying this is that my intention is to spend I do feel I've met the person to spend the rest of my days with, but to put that pressure on ourselves because life happens and we don't know what will happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, and some people need to have other people in their lives. And, so I want to demystify that. I prefer saying, can you actually have the person that's right for you for where you are when you are in the moment and thrive in relationship? That's kind of like the perspective that I have now. I want to be in a healthy relationship no matter how long that lasts.
Yeah.
It could be a year, could be for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to go through other people to actually get to that. I mean, God knows, it's like it took me 18 years to get here. So I would say that it's don't stop yourself at just the one person. Live more in the present, that you make sure that you are with the right person at the time.
I love that. I love that. It's funny. My very first long-term boyfriend, he and I are best friends. And we both think this like here and there, like, what if we'd stayed together? We would have been together for over 20 years
Mm,
now. And it's funny because we're so really close. Like, we are really, really close, but there's a reason why we broke up. And
yeah.
it's interesting because I think as a friend, there are parts of him in the relationship and in my friendship with him where I just get so frustrated and I'm like, oh, you can't, I just wish you would do A, B, and C. Like, I wish you would just do this. And it's taken me over 20 years to be like, you know what? That's who he is. And like, it's not my life. It's not my journey. And so now I finally accept him for who he is. But we do that, right? When we love people, we want them to be their best selves. We want them to get everything they want.
Yes.
So, it's like I had to work on that with myself for years with him. But it's interesting because I'm like, well, you know, I think that had we like really worked through things, we probably could have stayed together, which is amazing. But at the same time, all of the relationships I've had have been so fruitful in creating who I am. And I agree with
Mhm.
you. Like, I want to be with the person who is at this stage of my life with me now. But taking that first relationship and what I just exemplified, like, I do believe the more we accept the person we're in the relationship with
Yeah.
for the long term, you will be frustrated and you will want certain things. But if you really accept them for who they are and you detach yourself from that, right? It's not, you don't make them like how we always say, like, you can't change someone. You really can't.
Yeah.
You just can't, you guys. So, like, if
No.
you can truly accept them, that love, I think, for me at least, has grown so much. And just being like, no, I just really love you for who you are, really who you are, and not trying to make you anybody you're not. I think
Exactly.
that's how we can make love grow and continue for long, long, long times, no matter what stage we're at, hopefully.
Yes.
That's my
Yes.
hope. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll
But
see.
I love that. It's such a beautiful story that you shared, because one of the things that is consistent in how relationships fail is that people are always trying to change their partners, especially women. Women are really good at trying to change their men and
All we
trying
want to
to
do.
and you said it perfectly, because it would be interesting to, I don't know if you I talked about it, but would you, considering that you accept your friend for who they are and how close you are, to revisit romantically what could be possible? Because the one thing that I've noticed, and I used to hear this and I would cringe, when people say, I want to marry my best friend. I hated that line. I was like, I don't want to marry my best friend. Like, what?
Yeah.
No. But I understand today, because a best friend is someone with whom you feel safe, with
Hmm.
whom you feel trust, with whom you feel typically deep connection with. So I want to be with my best friend who I can sleep with.
Yeah. And
So
feel safe.
yes, exactly. So I think when I talk about the best friend thing, it's that level of intimacy that develops where you know each other, you accept each other for who you are. You're not trying to change one another. And I really, I see how it happens. And I still catch myself sometimes with my control issues doing that and saying, well, maybe you need to do this or you should do that. And again, he catches me on my bullshit, which is great. We've had that dynamic where it's like, why are you trying to change me?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, why?
Yeah.
So there's a really, I back off. So I love that you shared that, because there is a lot of value and that a lot of love in accepting someone unconditionally for who they are and who they are not.
Hmm. And I think too, just to caveat that, you have to pick someone who you genuinely like, guys. Okay. Let's not pick someone who's just really hot or is doing something in their career that you think is really cool or whatever the fuck you're picking that's really shallow. You need to actually be so much in common for the most part that the things that are different that you might want to tweak in the future that start to
Mhm.
pop up won't be as big as they could be. I think that
Yes.
is like the way I'm moving into the future is like, no, I want to be with someone who's very similar to me in some aspects, not all, but in
Mhm.
some. And then the ways that you're not, is that okay? Like, am I going to be okay with it? And if I'm really like,
Yeah,
wow, that is going to be a big problem, then that's probably not my person, you know? Because, like, can you
exactly.
accept that for the next 10 years? I don't know. Probably not.
Yes, and that's what people have to think about. Like,
Mhm.
it's all good when you start dating someone, it's exciting. And as you said, you're in the honeymoon phase, but that honeymoon phase is not going to stay forever. So what really matters to you in the long run? What can I put up with or not? These are all great questions to ask yourself when you're going through the dating process and not get caught into the lust, the butterflies, the excitement. It's just like I call it the eagle eye vision in the book where you have the bigger picture. 2020 vision is like the human, but 24/7 is the eagle, where they see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So when I started dating Jeff, I was always focusing on the bigger picture.
Yeah.
How does he treat other people? I had put my list of things that really mattered to me, which were somebody that was open,
Mhm.
someone that would accept me for who I am and my wildness, because I'm a butterfly. I used to travel a lot, work with men. So I didn't want to be with someone that felt insecure or that, would be possessive or jealous and asking me where to go and what to do.
Yeah.
So these are really, really important questions to when you're working on your vision of what you're looking for and what you want to think about their needs are almost like air and water that you can't live without. They're, massive deal breakers that if I don't get that, I'm going to die kind of thing. There's a big
Yeah.
difference between a want and a need, and especially from a partner versus a relationship perspective.
Mhm.
So I invite people to think about that because, as you said, sexiness is great. And like if they thrive in their job and it's exciting and you get to benefit, but what if they end up, in the long run, they're never home and you spend your
Right.
time alone all the time? So
Yeah. Hmm.
deeper questions for people that are interested.
Deeper questions, guys. Deeper questions. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, how can people find your book and buy it?
So the book is officially available on February 14th, but it is available for pre-order right now. You can go to my website at www.raiseyourlovesignal.com and you will have all the links there on the different platforms that the book is available to pre-order. And you can also DM me on Instagram, which is the platform that I am the most active on social media. And it's my name, Chantal.Landerville.
Yay. And all of those links will be in the show notes, guys. It'll be very easy to find. Chantal, this is always so great talking to you. I feel like we really saved and helped a lot of people today. I really do.
Yay!
Yay.
Cheers to that, girlfriend.
Cheers to that.
Because that's the mission. It's the whole mission of this book is to really people, I remember being in so much pain, living in so much sadness, feeling alone. And I've been through the journey that so many people go through. And the book is really, really enlightening into if you follow these steps, not all of them, you don't even need to listen to pay to do all of them, but some of them, it will open your horizons to a whole other level. And I always say, right, it's how badly do you want something? You are the master of your own destiny. It's like, how badly do you want something and how much are you ready to invest to change? Because it starts with you. You're the only person that can transform and change things. And when we have been doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results, you're just setting yourself up for more failure. So it's just have a different perspective and the humility. That's the word of the day
Humility.
today.
It is.
To
It's a
say, you know
powerful word.
what? I'm gonna think about things differently. I'm gonna look and I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna explore that. So
Yeah, absolutely. Such a great conversation. Thank you so much for coming
thank
on.
you. So much fun to always spend time with you. I'm so grateful. Thank you.